So Clan Capital level 7 and level 8 are a lot more difficult than Clan Capital level 5 and 6. At 5 and 6, we used a lot of Swiss G, and if you haven't checked out the YouTube video on how to defeat every single district on that, make sure you check it out. But with Clan Capital level 7 and Clan Capital level 8, there is a specific attack that you can use to get each district down in 2 hits, and we're going to show you how to do that right now. So a big shout out to G-Riz, who brought several of his accounts over. He's been doing amazing. This is the attack that he is using: 11 hogs, 5 of the barbarian rams, 6 barbarians, and 3 skeleton spells. Not skeleton spells, graveyard spells. I get the home village mixed up with the clan capital, but we're going to put those graveyard spells down around the defenses that are going to give us the most issues. And then once we do that, we're going to release just a couple hogs on each of the defenses. Once those hogs clear out those defenses, then we're going to bring in the barbarians directly behind it. And in order to ensure that we can put the hogs down as close to the defense as possible, we're going to use the barbarian rams to open up the walls to get those hogs super close. Now, one of the awesome things about this attack is that the hogs have the flying hog, which stuns the defense. So as you're doing it, one hog at a time, that defense is stunned. Those hogs are able to get that defense down, and then you're able to move on to the next defense. When if you're using something like Swiss G, for example, again, we're going to put down the graveyard spells around those buildings that are going to give us the most trouble. This is one of the worst buildings. I can't even remember what it's called. This is one of the worst buildings to have to deal with, especially with Swiss G. And one of the problems with Swiss G is once your super giants and once the super wizards are out from underneath that heal spell, they are extremely vulnerable, especially in packs. And when you have things like this giant cannon, or you have the rockets, or you have the giant arrow defense, whenever they're hitting those packs of super wizards or those packs of super giants, they're doing so much damage that it's almost not worth doing Swiss G. Now, we're going to show you an attack where we do use Swiss G, but let's move on to the next district to show you how it's done. Now, Crimson is going to use the exact same attack style. So we have 11 hogs, again, 5 barbarian rams, 6 barbarians, and 3 graveyard spells. Graveyard. We're going to put those graveyard spells down on defenses like these big boys, clusters of defenses that are going to give us the most issues, and then we're just going to release these hogs one by one. Look how he's spreading it out. It's stunning the defense, and then it's moving on to the next building. The beauty about the graveyard spells, is that as your hogs are dying, those graveyard spells are not only serving as a distraction, but they can do a lot to destroy. So for example, this rocket launcher right here, it doesn't target things that are directly around it, and so those skeletons can just kind of move in, start massaging its back and say, hey there, big guy, you want to go down, don't you? And so using the graveyard spell very strategically, he's going to do that in the second attack as well. He's able to wipe out each of these districts in 2 attacks, which of course is the goal. Moving on to the next replay, again, same army composition where we're going to have 11 hogs, 5 barbarian rams, and 6 barbarians. And like I said here, he's putting in those barbarian rams, number 1, to open up the walls, so that way we can get those hogs as close to the defenses as possible. And then number 2, the little itty-bitty barbarians that pop out afterwards, those serve as a distraction, so the hogs have time to work. As such, it works really well. Like, I was shocked whenever I saw this specific attack and how well it worked. Let's move on to the next district, show you how it's done. So the first 2 were Skeleton Park and Golden Quarry. Quarry. I think it's pronounced Quarry. But this is moving on to Balloon Lagoon. Again, same setup, and don't get discouraged if you're starting out the attack and you only get a low percentage, just as Crimson did here, which I'm pretty sure is Big G-Riz's alternate account, because he's attacking it the same way. Assuming it's his, huge shout out to Big G-Riz for showing us how this is done. But putting those skeleton spells down on clusters of buildings that are going to give us the most issues, and as you can see, he's putting in on all of these, and then as we're moving through the base, we're starting out with the barbarians here to to distract, get some of those defenses down. That way we can move that line of demarcation. I don't know that's what it's called, but whatever it is, moving the line so that way the Hogs can get in as close to the defenses as possible, and then slowly releasing in those Hogs, just trickling them in so that way they stun the defense and then they move on. Now, what does this not work against? This style of attack does not work against bases that have been built really compact. I'm going to show you how SwissG can actually work on that type of attack, but if you have a really compact base, it can be harder to get this to work. Again, using the graveyard spells and clusters of defenses, making sure that they're spread around, those skeletons are going to do some work, and then making sure that line of demarcation moves up so that way he can get those super hogs as close as possible. Let's go ahead and speed this up so we can watch it. So he's moving in the hogs on each defense one at a time, putting in the barbarians where he needs to destroy buildings like this where the hogs are not going to target, so that way that line of demarcation is moved up and he's able to get every single district down in 2 hits. So that was Balloon Lagoon moving to Builder's Workshop. Again, we're using the exact same setup. This one I really like using SwissG on, but this attack strategy is just so amazing. I love watching it. I myself am going to use it in the future. I'm going to be rewatching this video so that way I can remember exactly how it's done. Putting the 3 skeleton spells on the big boys. There, and then the last one goes there. We also could have put it there, but I'm assuming that he's assuming that we're not going to get to that defense anytime soon. So as we watch the next video that we're doing, he's obviously going to put the graveyard spell on that big boy as well. And then just slowly trickling out, see, just slowly trickling out those hogs, 1 defense at a time, and then moving that line of demarcation forward with our barbarian rams and our barbarians. Let's watch second attack, because I guessed that he was putting on that. I think I remember. But we're going to place down the 3 skeleton. Yep, there, first one he put down, right there on that big boy. Skeleton spells on the most distracting spots, the most difficult spots that you know are going to do a ton of damage. Puts an extra one down here, puts an extra one up here in order to distract. And then look, one at a time, starting to trickle in, putting that barbarian ram down for distraction, one at a time, just putting everything down. This mode of attacking is just absolutely genius, and I cannot believe that I have not used it up to this point. But thankfully you have this video, that way you can know exactly how you need to hit each of the districts in Clan Capital, level 7, and level 8. Again, clearing this up in 2 hits. Let's move on to the next attack in the next district to show you exactly how it's done. Okay, so I was going to show you Dragon Cliffs, but Dragon Cliffs is everybody's nemesis. I hate it, and I'm sure that if you're watching this video, you hate it as well. We're going to skip Dragon Cliffs. I will come back to it next, but we are on the first war, so I wanted to show you G-Riz's next attack and how he attacks Wizard Valley using the same exact method. Again, putting down the graveyard spells in the most needed distraction spots, and then slowly moving up with the hogs, using the barbarians to take down those buildings, because notice as the building goes down, that line moves up. Using the barbarian rams in order to get that line to move past those walls, because if there are walls there, then that line will stay back. So we have to have the barbarian rams for that purpose. And then going into the last attack for Wizard Valley, again, putting down, oh, he didn't even put down his graveyard spells because he knew he was going to take care of it. He's like, this is so easy. I don't even need my graveyard spells. He did eventually put them down in places where he needed the distraction, and then one at a time putting down his hogs, absolutely making mincemeat of everything. So that was Wizard Valley. Let's move on to the next attack. I guess if I have to show you Dragon Cliffs, I will. So here it is. So look, with Dragon Cliffs, the tough part about using that strategy on Dragon Cliffs is the dragons are going to destroy the hogs. I always just take it down with archers. You can kind of watch and kind of see. This is just your typical, and it's also very hard to get down in 2 hits. You can try the hog strategy. I need to try it. Unfortunately, G-Riz ran out of attacks, so I was not able to see if he did this specific, or him doing this specific district with his hogs. So I just use archers. I use rage. Let's go to the second attack. I'm able to get most of it down in 2 hits. Sometimes I can get this down in 2 hits and not 3 hits. This time, for example, it took me 3 hits. Moving on to the next attack. As you can see, was almost done with it. Just had to finish the cleanup. Just a few buildings left, not much at all, and we were able to get this down in 3 hits. I know this is boring. I know that attacking Dragon Cliffs, especially with super archers, is literally the most boring part of Clan Capital. That's the reason everybody skips that one and moves on to the next one. Now, once we get super miners at Clan Capital 9, I'm pretty sure, a lot easier to do it, but this is how I do Dragon Cliffs at Clan Capital 7 and Clan Capital 8. Now, moving on to Barbarian Camp, I wanted to show you how I use SwissG at Clan Capital level 7, level 8, and this will work on bases that have a tight core, or a lot of buildings that are in one spot. The difference between Clan Capital level 4 and 5, or 5 and 6, and Clan Capital's level 7 and 8, is we cannot cluster our troops. So before, I would release 7 or 8 super giants in a row, keep 1 or 2 back, and you can see how all those super wizards just completely made mincemeat of that core area. But I would put almost all of my super giants down, saving 2 or 3 maybe for the end, and then I would put almost all of my super wizards and then just let them pass. Well, the problem, starting at Clan Capital level 7, Clan Capital level 8, is that there are a lot more buildings being added to the map, which means those buildings are A, either spread out, or B, they're super clustered. And if you have a lot of defenses that are super clustered, then yes, super wizards can do a lot of damage with that, but also super wizards are really, really fragile. As you can see, and you really have to protect them. And SwissG in those instances only works when you have heal spell coverage. Now, I know at Clan Capital level 7, we get 2 heal spells, so it's a lot easier to do that, but still, it's just not as strong of a strategy. So I encourage you to use the hog strategy rather than using SwissG. But if you approach your base and you're not able to get it down in 2 hits, or you just don't see, maybe it's super clustered, then using SwissG can still work, although in those cases it might actually take 3 attacks, as it did for me, versus 2. And again, what you're going to do is you're just releasing a few giants at a time. As you can see, the last of my giants coming in at the very end, and able to get this one down in 3 hits. Now, the Clan Capital. There are 2 different ways that you can hit the Clan Capital. I'm going to show you both of them. One of them super boring, so I'm just going to go through it really quickly. The other one, honestly, if the Clan Capital's most likely, that's the one that's being built. So let's go to that one, and then I'll talk through the strategy to give you some ideas on whether or not it's a strategy that you actually want to use. So huge shout out to Fury, or Rage, as we know him in the clan. Been a clan member in House of L for a long time. If you have a built base, this is exactly what I'm talking about. A base where they have actually tried, or they've just copied a link and they're actually trying to defend in the Clan Capital. I'll show you an attack later on where they haven't done anything to the Clan Capital base or the Capital Peak. So with this one, you're going to bring a ton of Barbarian Rams. You're going to bring in a few Super Wizards if you need in order to clean out the trash. And then the rest are going to be Hogs. And you're going to just spam the Barbarian Rams into the base, put the Hogs in behind it with the graveyard spells placed there. And it's really just a throw down and smash attack. It's the easiest way to get through it. And honestly, you typically get through it 3 times. Like, I rarely see anybody who uses this method of 3 graveyard spells, 18 or 19 Barbarian Rams, and the rest Hogs. Rarely see it not get down in 3 hits. It really works a lot, especially with those graveyard spells. You can place them more strategically if you want, but either way, it works pretty much every time. And then we're going to show the last one, so that way you can see the actual final. I don't know about you, but I'm a little OCD and I got to see exactly how it works. Last 3 graveyard spells, again, thrown down. There's no particular strategy to this. Throw in the Barbarian Rams, throw in the hogs, and then just let everything destroy it. And typically that will get the Capital Hall down in 3 tries. Now, the last way that I'm going to do it, I'm going to show you here in just a second. And this is it right here. If you come across this, so nothing has been done to this clan capital at all. Literally nothing. They haven't moved a thing, which I think is the same way that we are in House of L. Because who cares if somebody gets it down in 2 hits or 3 hits? It actually benefits them. It does benefit us a little bit, I guess, if we get a few defenses. But the defensive rewards are pretty low compared to the offensive rewards. Anyway, point being, I just use sneaky archers. I literally use sneaky archers on everything. So here's the first attack, and this is what we were able to get done. That's how much we destroyed in the first attack. Literally, just with sneaky archers. All of that was destroyed. All of that. Now, on the second and third attack, I might have been able to get it done in 2 attacks. I used rage. So I used 2 rages in order to try to... Now, I'd place that rage a little off. In fact, that was pretty pathetic. If you're going to place your rage, you want to place it over a little bit. There's no need for that rage to be on that giant cannon. Stupid. TipDog20, what are you thinking? But I use rage so that way those archers can get through the base as quickly as possible. And then the last attack, the way I can show you, again, we're using rage and we're using sneaky archers, and we're able to get it down in 3 hits. So if you come across a base or a capital peak that nothing has been done to it, I know it's boring, and let me assure you that it does get a little more exciting whenever you get super miners. A lot more fun to do, but hopefully this helps. So any districts that are under Barbarian Camp, for sure, 100%, you can use the hog strategy with the 6 Barbarian Rams and the 5 Barbarians. That way you can move up that line of demarcation. And then on the Capital Peak, if nothing's been done to it, just use sneaky archers. If something has been done to it, then use the same attack that Rage used. Fury in the game is what we saw. Just use mass Barbarian Rams, mass hogs, and just wipe out everything with the skeleton or graveyard spells. Again, graveyard spells, graveyard spells. Hopefully this video was helpful. If so, make sure you give us a like. Don't forget to subscribe. All of that, yada, yada, yada. Until the next video, my name is TipDog20. I'll see you then.